All right, all right. Party people in the place to be, vandals, and whatever else is lurking in the darkness. This is a new test that we're running for the Pink Buzz. Since we are all fans of all kinds of forms of media, we are going to be doing this kind of sideshow that kind of embraces our love of film and music. But to keep things a buck 50, we're going to make this first one all three basically. It's going to be comics, films, and movies all rolled into one because we are discussing a film soundtrack and not just a film soundtrack. Probably one of the most important films for comic book fans, period's soundtrack, and that is the 1994 masterpiece, The Crow. And I'm really excited to be doing this. Like, fellas, what do you feel about? How do you guys feel about this idea? You know, kind of taking the show on this type of a journey.
Go for it, Joe.
I fucking love it. I love movies. I love soundtracks. I love movies about comics that have cool music. So fuck, I'm down. Talk about Tarantino. Talk about Guy Ritchie. Talk about Scorsese. Let's fucking do this shit, man. I love it. Love it. Eat it up like fucking, I don't know, something that's good and tasty.
Oh, I know
Right,
something.
Oh boy, we're already getting dirty right off the bat.
You know how I roll. Yeah, man, I'm stoked about it. Definitely looking forward to branching out into other topics a little bit. I mean, you know, I love comics, but there's always room for other shit, especially with the three of us. We like a lot of different things, and yeah, man, let's get it on.
And like Joey said, we're into all kinds of directors. The one that we're covering this week, Alex Proyas, he maybe not gets as much respect as he deserves because I don't know, his career kind of fell off after his first few movies, but he is iconic in my opinion for at least his early work. I mean, Dark City, the
Dark
film after
City.
The Crow, is probably one of my favorite films ever. But
Dark
like
City
I was
is awesome.
Yeah.
But like I was saying, The Crow is just such an important film for comic fans and for people in general. But not to mention that it has probably one of the most 1990s soundtracks ever. And I mean that in a good way. It has the best the 90s has to offer in full variety because the 90s was just a incredible time for music, especially in the alternative sphere. Nowadays alternative's kind of a joke. You got like Maroon 5 and all these kind of like antiseptic bands that don't really have anything to offer. But when I was a kid and like when this album came out, you didn't know what was going to come on the radio next. If it was going to be some kind of 60s throwback psychedelic thing or some kind of prog metal spin-off with some fusion jazz. I mean, it just was uncharted territory, and it was a beautiful time, and we just get so much of that on this record. And like, how do you guys feel about this soundtrack before we kind of go over the tracks themselves and you know how we felt about those?
Yeah, man, like this was I'd probably have to say this is the first like film soundtrack that I probably ever heard, let alone bought. And like I think I was 11 or 12 when this came out, and like I was just getting into, I guess, what you would like getting into the music that I still enjoy now. Like my cousin and my friend Mark's older brother Ricky were like giving me punk tapes, and like I think I got a Bad Brains tape, and my cousin gave me a tape with like The Cure, Joy Division, Bauhaus, I think Ministry was on it, and like The Birthday Party, I think, like just a bunch of random tracks from them. So like all that was like in the mix when this came out. So, and it's really funny because a lot of that is kind of in this soundtrack with like the Joy Division cover, and I don't know, just this kind of came out at like the perfect moment when like the melting pot of music was really coming into my life. So it has a special place with me for sure.
Yeah, I agree, man. This was like one of the first movies where the soundtrack was actually integrated as a part of the movie to create a mood. an ambiance with and a tone within the movie. It wasn't just like something that they talked about and you heard it. It was like in the background. It wasn't meant to be literally present, but just there in the background to create a mood and the atmosphere, and it worked perfectly, and it hooks you. Like there's so many songs, like Matt said, that man, you just had to like get that soundtrack because you loved it, and it was so well done that when you listen to the soundtrack, you can replay those scenes in your head from the movie as you're listening to it, and it just works so well together, and it was great.
Yeah, I really, really loved doing the prep work for this episode because I legitimately had listened to this full album in probably a decade, maybe longer. So to actually just revisit the whole thing, it was great. I mean, I just really, really dived in and just felt all the tracks like I did when I was young again. And that's powerful to say because some of these bands you didn't know of back then, and they definitely aren't known now. So, um, yeah, it's a really kind of powerful thing that is a time capsule for what how badass music just was in 1994. It was the perfect time and place if you liked rock. And kind of getting into what this album has to offer. The first track is a song called Burn by The Cure, and it's accompanied by a very powerful scene in the film where Eric Draven had just returned from death, and he is in his apartment reliving what had happened to him, and he's painting his face. And the song is just so atmospheric. It's so beautiful. I personally find it akin to my favorite Cure song, Hanging Garden, and almost is like a sequel to that song. And it just hits hard, man. The drums and everything. How do you guys feel about Burn by The Cure and kind of its scene in the film?
I mean, it was. I'm pretty sure they wrote this song specifically for the film. So, I mean, I know that I'm sure probably Obar and Alex probably himself. I'm sure they all got together and probably pitched maybe the scene or something that it was going to accompany. And it's one of those timeless songs. Like when you hear it especially in the film during that scene, those tribal drums like slowly build up with the bird sounds, and you just it gives you goosebumps every time. Like at least for me, like it's just one of those timeless songs that'll always hit you hard.
I completely 100% agree. Like this song, like, bands often get hired to do songs, and it's almost like they do it in the studio, it seems like, without even seeing scenes from the movie. They just slap something together and it doesn't seem to fit. But like you said, it almost seems like here, this is like they gave them the scene. This is the scene. This is what we're looking for. And they fucking compose this song to fit perfectly with the mood and the scene of that whole first scene. And like you said, it's haunting. It just drives the emotion, the feel of that scene. Like it just captures it perfectly. And so few songs that are actually made purposely for a movie are successful at it. And this one does it 100%, hits it out of the park. It's amazing.
Right. I mean, haunting is the perfect term for it. Like, you literally feel like a tortured soul when you listen to it. You can hear Robert Smith. I mean, he kind of has that in a lot of his music, but
Yeah.
I mean, he's like, it's almost back to when Cure was at their prime, like Disintegration days. When you're listening to this, it's such a good track. Like, end of story. If you like the Cure at all, like this is a banger for you. If you don't know it, definitely check out "Burn" on the Crow soundtrack.
I mean,
this song,
the Cure.
It stands. This even without the movie, this song would stand on its own. Like it's good. It's really good.
Yeah, agreed, 100%.
Next up, we got a song called Golgotha Tenement Blues. Great name for a song.
Man.
By a band called The Machines of Love and Grace. I'd never heard of this band, even when this came out. Like I don't know if they just got on the soundtrack by luck, but this song's really cool. You probably recognize it from the film. You kind of hear the bass line when Fun Boy is shooting up morphine with Darla. in one of the scenes, and it's just got this really kind of cool bass line, and the song just builds, and it's just this really kind of cool nihilistic, I don't know, somewhere like between Iggy Pop and Velvet Underground type song, but more sonic in a way. It's kind of hard to capture exactly what it sounds like, but it's definitely a very interesting track, and the bass line's sick in it. Like that, this whole album's really good if you like bass guitar, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, man. Yeah, this is I mean, again, like you said, I had never heard of this band before hearing the soundtrack. I don't think I ever took the time to check out any of their other songs. And I mean, this song just, it grabs you. It's really fucking catchy. And like, I can't help but bob my head like throughout the whole thing. But yeah, man, I like re-listening to it now after who knows how many years. Like it's definitely got me. I'm gonna go see if I can find their other discography and check that out for sure. I don't really have much to say because like I never really dove into this band, but I can dig this song, man.
Yeah, I actually like this song more now than I did when I was younger. I used to kind of skip it, but like when I listened to it the other day doing the prep work, I'm like, dude, this actually slaps. This is actually a killer track.
Right? That fucking groove, man. It's just it's a head bobber, dude. Like you can't not. At least I couldn't.
And what's a shame is this soundtrack is so good, and the lesser known bands could have so gained from let it be in release today, where you have like Spotify, where you can just go and be like, oh shit, you could just click and go have their whole fucking discography. Back then you couldn't.
Right.
So you had to really go out and look for this shit, which sometimes wasn't obvious. And maybe like a band like this, if it would have came out today on a soundtrack like this, probably could have helped their careers and like really, but it is what it is. So they didn't. It came out in the 90s, and we didn't have Spotify and the wonderful thing that's called the internet, or it was just dial-up. So fucking died of old age trying to download one song.
Yeah, for smaller bands, like legit, you had to be lucky enough to live, at least in California. I don't know what the shops are in other states, but you'd have to live by like an Amoeba or a Rasputin's, where like they actually sell like indie music, the smaller bands. Otherwise, you would have to really be lucky, like looking through like a Sam Goody or Warehouse used bin and hope to find something that somebody bought at one of those stores and sold there.
Yep.
But, yeah, zipping right along. But yeah, it's a good track, and it's such a great name for a song too. Golgotha Tenement Blues, such a nihilistic '90s name.
Yeah, that's a definite band name if I ever get into another one.
Number 3, track 3 is probably arguably the biggest hit off of the album, and it is. It's just a carrying, powerful song. Not too the biggest fan of this band, but you can't deny their presence during this time period and how good they were at the time. Stone Temple Pilots, the song Big Empty, it's just a really, really good song. It's confused as a love song, but it's not. It's actually about two people that hate each other trying to get somewhere together. And I don't know, it's good stuff. I mean, like the chorus just soars. It's one of Scott Weiland's crowning achievements, in my opinion. So yeah, how you guys feel about Big Empty?
Yeah, it's probably my favorite Stone Temple Pilots song. I didn't get into that whole grunge scene like at all. Like I never really dug like Pearl Jam or Nirvana even. I wasn't really ever a big fan of. But the guitars that this band plays, not just on this track, but they were just so much better and more appealing to me.
The kind of southern rock guitar, the kind of twangy.
Yeah. But yeah, man, this is a classic song. Like I'm sure everybody's heard this fucking song at some point, man. I remember this was on the radio all the time, MTV all the time. Like I don't know. What can you say about this song? It's a classic.
For me, and I enjoyed grunge music when I grew up. And Stone Temple Pilots are probably one of, with them and Alice in Chains are probably two of my favorite grunge bands growing up. And to be honest, this is one of my least favorite songs on the soundtrack. But it's good. I mean, I like it.
Right? Because it got played so much, you got tired of it, right?
Like I enjoyed it, but
too.
I enjoyed like Stone Temple Pilots. I don't know if it's their first or second album, Core. Anyway, that album I loved. And then Purple, the other one was Purple. That one was okay. And then after that, I started kind of They started to get a little more poppy and stuff. The sound, yeah,
agreed.
So yeah, but I enjoy this song. Like, I mean, it's good, and it stands out from the others because it doesn't have that same moodiness to it, or like the other ones, like you say, like it builds a mood before like the lyrics kick in, and this one's more just a straight up, just like a radio song, like like there's no build up, like you know what I mean, like if you compare it to the first one by The Cure, there's such a huge build up before the lyrics kick in and they start singing, and this one's just straight up like a radio song, like a hit, so I mean, I just find that's where it kind of stands out as different from a lot of the other ones in it.
Yeah, and I guess that's why like the part that it's actually in the film is so unimpressive. Like it literally is just played while the bad guys drive away from blowing up the casino at the beginning, and you're just kind of like, wow, the biggest hit, the song that most people probably went and saw the movie and was expecting to be in like a key scene. Like, no, these tweakers just listened to it after after committing a crime. Like that's,
right, driving by a hot dog stand.
Yeah. Feel like a little worm on a big fucking hook.
Well,
Mama must be damn proud of you.
I think of this song as being the Madonna song from the Guy Ritchie movie.
Oh, wow. I love that track.
Like, I love that track. Then they move on to other things. It's kind of like the same idea. It's there briefly, and then they move on to something else.
And moving on to something else, indeed, we have a song that I actually consider probably one of the strongest off of the album, number 4. Great. It's from a great scene in the film, like Joe was talking about. Like, The Crow has probably some of the best action running on rooftop scenes, and probably the most atmospheric one is set to this song, which is a cover of Joy Division's Dead Souls by 9 Inch Nails. And oh my God, Trent just nails it. This is probably one of the best, like, new wave cover songs you'll ever hear. This is actually where I learned about the band Joy Division, who are now probably one of my favorite musical acts of all time. And I'm really happy that I learned about them with this track, because it is just such a powerful, wonderful cover, even though they cut the intro by about half, because like if you listen to the Joy Division one, like the intro is probably longer than the whole song itself, which is hilarious.
Which is often the case with stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's not very radio friendly.
yeah. Trent cut straight to the vocals in this one, which was fine. Like for me, it lacks that kind of like raw, like kind of garage sound that the original version has for me, but it's still like, I mean, it's basically the same song filtered through Reznor. So, I mean, it's awesome. Don't get me wrong. But I prefer the original. But yeah, that's kind of like not quite as powerful as the scene with The Cure. But it's definitely, when you hear the song, it automatically makes you think of that rooftop. So, I mean, that's what's so great about the songs that made it into the film, is anytime you hear them, you know exactly what scene it's from. And I mean, it just builds on how classic this film is, the soundtrack is, and not many songs do that. So I got to give it props for that.
This is the song for me for this soundtrack. That anytime I think of this soundtrack or this movie, I think of this song and the running along the rooftops. That's my go-to. This is like probably the number one song for me on this when I was a kid. This like every time I thought of this movie, this is like the song and the scene that I went to is him running on the roofs, and that's it. That's The Crow for me, the movie. Summed up right there.
They just loop the rooftop scene
Yeah,
over and
that's it.
over. The
Like, I went and
Joe
watched that movie.
Paquette. The Joe Paquette cut.
Yeah.
I ain't kid. He ain't kidding, dude. To tell you the truth, knowing that they had a Nin song on the soundtrack, like, got the movie so much cred. Like, at least with me and my friends, because like that's what we listened to when we were skating. We were all such hateful, mean little fuckers. We loved like Pretty Hate Machine and in Downward Spiral, and this Trent's just nihilistic. I want to burn the damn world down because I don't even have a good reason. I'm just mad, and I loved him for it. And like it, you hear it all that through this song too, even though it's such a song about longing and being alone and everything. And oh, dude, and like I said, it introduced me to Joy Division, so I owe him big for that because like Ian is like a personal, I don't know, spirit animal of mine in a way, I guess you could say. So yeah, I really, really have an affinity for this song, like Joey. And
Yeah,
plus,
I love
yeah, if I always picture myself looking really fucking cool running on rooftops with some badass Nine Inch Nails playing. It's like, they keep calling me! And I'm just like, yeah, baby, I'm running on them roofs.
And CGI quality.
Hell yeah, dude,
Every-
because that's the only way I'll look cool running, to tell you the truth. I'm pretty sure.
That's every teenage boy's dream is to look cool running on rooftops like that, man.
Right.
Like
Hell
so
yeah.
many characters in comics. Daredevil, Batman, rooftops, fucking Spider-Man, skyscrapers, you know, like
Right.
That's it.
They're all missing that Nine Inch Nails song.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
keeps most of them from being cool. Yeah, Daredevil had to deal with Evanescence. Poor, and people wonder why Ben Affleck's still so sad. Like,
Just nailed it.
yeah, it's
Just nailed it.
I'd rather have the worst Nine Inch Nails song I ever played than that, but yeah. Zipping right along to, amazing bass lines. We have a song, I don't actually remember this one on showing up in the film, but it's one of my favorite songs from this band. I don't care too much for them, but it's a song called Darkness by Rage Against the Machine. And oh, dude, like it just starts out with this I don't know, this is just like a really, really relaxing jazz beat on this bass guitar, and then it breaks into their normal kind of like funk hip hop thing. But I love the jazz part of the song. I mean, like it makes the whole song good for me, in my opinion. How do you guys feel about this one?
Yeah, same, man. That fucking bass line is one of the best things I've heard from a bass, period. Like, so good. And then, man, when Zach and the guitars come in, it just fucking ruins it for me. Like, it just sounds corny to me, man. And I hate it for ruining that bass tone. And I don't know, man. Like, I kind of, like, as soon as that fucking funk shit pops in, I kind of just skip it.
Yeah.
it just turns it the wrong way for me. I don't know.
Yeah,
Really.
I don't necessarily come on board with you, but I like glaze over that song. You know, I think it's good, but it's far from being the best song on the soundtrack.
Yeah.
It was
I think
also a really
also-
popular one though at the time. Like all the kids
Yeah.
were really excited about it because like
Yeah.
Rage was. They say the F word in their music. They're so cool.
Yeah.
I'd rather listen to Inside Out.
Is that Disney movie about the feelings with feelings?
No, it was Zach's band before this.
But yeah, I think inside. Yeah, I think you're probably both right.
But yeah, so we're all in agreement that like actual jazz bass line is the best part of the song. Like it's sweet, dude. You're like, it's
fucking
awesome.
smooth, dude.
And then all of a sudden, yeah, you just like, and it's all about the dum, dum, and it's just like, yeah, okay, man. Because all of his raps are the same. He has one flow. Like
Yeah,
that was
for
my
sure.
problem with Rage. But I don't want to shit on everybody. So we're getting so many dislikes because I said that anyway. So we're moving on already. And
Oh,
this is probably arguably my favorite or my second favorite off of the album. We have "Color Me Once" by the Violent Femmes. This song is played briefly when Sarah goes into the bar to try to get some money from Darla, and she's like, "Somebody already bought me dinner. The police." You know that scene, like and it's just great. It's just a really good Violent Femmes song, though. If you like, them and their kind of weird country swing garage punk rock, like this is just a downright slam and jam, in my opinion.
slam and jam, indeed. Violent Femmes are one of my favorites anyway. So, I mean, you just can't go wrong with any song by them, in my opinion. So, I mean, it's just another great song from a great band. I mean, I don't have nothing else to say about it. I mean,
yeah, I'm right there with you, man. Like put any Violent Femmes in any movie, and I'm happy.
yeah,
Right? Like you can't go wrong. Like I mean, fuck it. I love Violent Femmes. I mean, puts a smile on my face every time I hear it. So fuck,
Yeah.
Put it anywhere in any movie, and I'll be happy. So
right. Even the rooftop scene.
Yeah, Gordon and the Boys are still underrated.
Yeah, I would dig it.
Well, cool. Hell yeah. Okay, zipping right along to probably, this one is actually my favorite song on the album. Number 7. Yeah, we have the greatest song ever sang by one Mr. Henry Rollins, and this is Ghost Rider, which is hilarious because this is legitimately a spoof song about the actual comic book character Ghost Rider, and it's done in this, I don't know, like he's almost doing a spoof of Iron Man, but he's singing it like Danzig. And I know that Henry's supposed to be straight edge, but he sounds so coked out on this recording. It's not even funny. And this thing just rocks, dude. Just like Ghost Rider, motorcycle hero. I love this song, dude. It slaps. And I laugh when I listen to it. It's just a good, fun song. Like I enjoy every second of this track.
You know this is a cover, right?
Yeah?
Yeah, it's a Suicide cover.
Okay.
That's why his voice is the way it is, I do believe.
Okay.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that really dig the whole Suicide thing. It was just never my taste at all. I think it's fucking awful. But hey, they like pretty much invented that noise kind of shit that I'm just not into. But hey, then that's, if you like it, that's fine. But yeah, it was, I knew who Black Flag was at this time, and I knew Rollins was doing Rollins Band. And I loved Ghost Rider comics at the time. So, I mean, the dude from Black Flag singing about a comic book character I'm into, sign me up, man. It is funny to hear Rollins sound this way, though, because it definitely has that spoof vibe. But I think listen to the Suicide version, and I think he's riffing on that.
Fun of that guy, because that
channeling
guy,
that. Yeah.
I didn't know they did it originally, because I do know what they sound like.
Yeah.
I can't remember what scene of the movie this was on.
It's not.
It is. It's just one of those add-on.
I don't think it was.
Yeah.
So it's probably played during the credits then, at some point while they're rolling the credits, because they have to put music, right, for those like 15-minute credit rolls at the end. So this probably made it for that cut. Yeah, well, he didn't make the cut. Sorry, Henry.
That's all right, man. Like Rollins Band, I don't know, they were okay, but
yeah, they're okay. They had a few good songs,
Yeah.
This is definitely their best. I mean, I like this better than any of his Black Flag stuff too. I mean, I do like Black Flag. I think that they're definitely an important band, but like as far as hardcore bands go, they're not the greatest in my opinion. But this song, I think he just shines because you don't see Henry Rollins pretend to have fun very often, but I guarantee you when he recorded this, he had a blast because he legitimately sounded like he was having fun recording this song. And I think that might have been a rare occasion for him. So that might be another reason to just like this song, because Henry Rollins might have actually had a good time doing it, which, I don't think he'd admit to, but it probably did happen.
Well, man, if you see the roles he takes on, like now in shows and stuff, they're quirky kind of roles. So, he has that side to him. It's there. So, he probably doesn't let it out as often as you'd like, but it's there.
Yeah, he takes himself a little too seriously most of the time, though. I love the guy. I mean, he's a hero of mine and everything, but yeah, he was the gym coach or something.
Yeah. And did he play a gay character in Deadly Class? Was he gay?
Probably. I know he's not afraid to.
Yeah, I think so. So he's willing to get out there and have fun with his roles and embrace the kookiness.
Have either of you seen Feast?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, when him in those pink sweats, man, is the coach.
Man.
Yeah, he was great.
That's my favorite Rollins role.
Oh, dude, my favorite role would probably have to be him as the racist cop in The Chase.
The Chase.
Yeah, he's talking about the standard issue street soldier.
Yeah.
I'm a standard issue street soldier. Like, asshole.
I
like him. I love him, but like he's a very serious man most of the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but zipping right along, this is actually the only song besides Big Empty I know that had a video for it. Milk Toast by Helmet, which it's pretty cool if you like Helmet. It's got a really good guitar riff, really cool. Like all Helmet songs, it goes a little too long for its own good, but it's a decent little track. What do you guys think of it?
This is one of my favorite songs on the soundtrack. I'm a big Helmet fan though, so It was the first Helmet song I ever heard, and
was it?
I know. Yes, unfortunately,
my first was on Judgment Night.
Oh, nice with House of Pain.
Yeah.
Good one, man.
Yeah, man.
Well, we got to do that soundtrack next,
Oh, yeah.
dude. I forgot all about that. Yeah, we're doing Judgment.
Oh yeah,
Night
that's
next.
a fucking crazy soundtrack.
Yeah, hip-hop, old school hip hop and alt bands. Yeah, we're doing Judgment Night next, man. That's for shizzle.
It's not their best song. They've got a few classics like Meantime and Unsung. But yeah, man, I fucking love Helmet. I love this song. I don't think that it goes on too long. Thank you very much, Johnny. No, man, this one's a fucking banger for me, dude. I'll fucking crank this shit any day of the week.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. Like, Helmet, I enjoyed Helmet. And the first time I got to know about Helmet was Judgment Night, but I only kind of briefly because they were associated with the House of Pain. And then one night I used to record the Late Late Show with Jon Stewart, and he had Helmet on as a guest. And I found, because he had decent musical guests on that show, pretty solid.
Is that when he was on MTV?
No, it was NBC or CBS. I can't remember. He was on main, like a big channel, and he got canceled after one season. And his last month, I think his last 4 episodes were fucking amazing because he didn't give a shit anymore. And he just did whatever the fuck he wanted for his last 4 episodes. And they were like some of the best late night, like, what do you call that kind of show? Like variety show or anyway, talk show, late night talk show was probably the best 4 episodes of late night talk show I've ever seen in my life. And I remember Helmet was one of the guests, and at the time, was he married to a model or he was dating a model? I was like, damn, that's pretty fucking cool. And he's fucking plays this hardcore music. I mean, this guy's my fucking hero. So I'm down with Helmet, and so it's good.
Well, right on. Yeah, no, I didn't mean. I think that if they
we know what you meant.
They sped up a little bit.
No take backs.
You don't gotta back up and reword it now, buddy.
No take backs.
Okay, well, if you guys thought I was mean to the last one, wait till you hear about this one, because I think your prep for this song is the first time I actually listened to it all the way through. Like even though I'm a metalhead, I have never liked this band. This cover song, I know it's supposed to be another hardcore band, but it sounds like the world's worst agnostic front song ever. This song is called "The Badge" by Pantera, and yeah, that's what this is.
Oh shit.
Oh, so going against the grain again and disagreeing with Johnny wholeheartedly, except for not being a very big Pantera fan, which I never was. But this song, it's a Poison Idea cover, and yeah, it's got fucking Taxi Driver samples to kick it off and end with, which is fucking awesome. The original does too, so I was glad they kept those. This is like, man, when that double bass kicks in on the little breakdown part towards the end, man, that shit blew my nuts off the first time I heard this, even though it's very tame for double bass work, but at the time I don't know, hadn't heard much double bass work. And I remember the first time I got a double bass for my drum set, this is the first song I learned how to play in its entirety. So it's got a fucking special place, Johnny.
Well, I'll make it unanimous across the board. I'm not the biggest Pantera fan either. So we can put this one to rest, I think. I mean, I appreciate their music, but I'm not the biggest fan. So, this song was okay for me.
I'm always a sucker for songs about shitty cops, so.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Poison Idea. Like, they're one of my favorites, but like, I wish that they would actually sounded like Poison Idea on the cover, not Agnostic Front. Like, how are you gonna sound like the wrong hardcore band when you're covering? Like, I don't know. I guess it's artistic interpretation, but it's weird to me. But cool. Like, yeah. As far as Pantera goes, I guess it's cool. Like, I don't know. I really like that Slayer album where they did all the hardcore covers. Now that was awesome when they did all the DI and TSOL shit and stuff.
Agreed.
This was a little more like that. I think I could get jiggy with it, but I think that they tried to just make it sound like a hardcore song and they just failed.
Hey.
But at least in my opinion, I'm talking to I know I'm just getting so many dislikes. First Rage and now Pantera. Let's move along.
We're definitely getting canceled.
Can't win them all. Can't win them all.
All right, next up we have a song called Slip, Slide, Melting by a band that I had never heard of in the 90s. I definitely don't know now, but this track is actually pretty cool. It's kind of got this kind of pop punky, palm muted riff that they play through it. It goes a little too long in my opinion too, but I think it jams pretty well for most of it. From a band called For Love Not Lisa. Yeah, how you guys feel about this one? I think it's a nice little album filler, you know what I mean? It's definitely when you'll skip towards the middle of it, but you'll listen to at least a good half of it before you do, right?
Man, this when I first heard this soundtrack, it was my favorite song on it.
Well, I mean, I like it and everything, but it's just it's 6 minutes long. It
definitely doesn't hold up though, man. I still like the guitar riff a whole lot. It's pretty sick. But it does feel like it drags out a little too long. But yeah, dude, I still enjoy this song. I'll listen to it all the way through. But yeah, it didn't hold up like I had it in my head when I was younger. But they can't all be winners, especially after that long.
So do you know this band's other stuff? Are they worth checking out? Because I like this track. I mean,
I have no idea, man. The only song I've ever heard by them.
Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't. It was uneventful for me as well. So
next, this is just a nice little album. Next up,
Joe's favorite song.
We have a pretty cool one. This one is from, I believe, Trent Reznor's Nothing album label. They're very KMFDM-esque, but I guess you could probably say a little more punky type vocals.
Yeah.
The song is called After the Flesh. The band is called My Life with the Thrill Kill Cult. Pretty good industrial alt metal stuff. Pretty standard, good samples, good rockin' tune. Very nihilistic, very burn the world down type feel to it. And it's only 3 minutes long, so it doesn't drag. It's just a good little jammer. I think it should have been a little earlier in the soundtrack, but it's also set to a great part in the film where he's first getting to Top Dollar's bar right before the big shootout. You actually get to see the band performing. It's groovy. It's one of my favorite scenes from the film. So yeah, it's a great addition to the album. What do you guys think?
Yeah, man, this is like the perfect like dance party with Satan song. Like, man, every time this song comes on, dude, I white boy dance to the fuck out of this song. Like,
I am the new way. I am the way of the future.
That's right. And again, like, I'd never heard of this band before this soundtrack. I don't think I ever heard anything after. But yeah, man, every time I hear it, I know exactly what scene of the movie it's from. So again, man, there's so many of these songs that it's again just an attest to the film and how memorable everything about it really is.
Yeah, this is the song that I was saying, along with the Nine Inch Nails song, that is probably right up there with that Nine Inch Nails song. That the Nine Inch Nails and this one, In on the Thrill Kill, are probably the two songs that I most identify to this movie. And I love it. It's like you said, it's a good jam, man. Every time you hear it, it's got a good beat, a quick beat.
Yeah.
The samples, like you said, are good. Like it's a stomper, man. Like you just can't help but fucking get in a good mood when this song comes on, man. You're like, yeah. Every time you hear it, it just another one puts a smile on my face every time I hear it. I love it, and it's great. Like that scene in the movie too. Like you said, I love the way they incorporated this into the movie. It was awesome, just great.
Yeah, if you like aggro tech or industrial or any of that stuff, this band holds up to like even the best bands that are out now. If you listen to like Cyclone 9 or FGFC 480 or whatever they're called, or Donna Ashes, like you could listen to this band right alongside them and you wouldn't tell that this is like a band from the 90s. Like these guys tear it the hell up for the time period and for now. So yeah, if you like industrial metal, like this track holds up. And I have actually heard some of this band's other stuff, and like, yeah, they're fairly consistent. So if you like this, they're definitely one worth checking out.
Like this song makes me think energy wise, just like Ministry's Jesus Built My Hot Rod. It's just,
yeah,
it's awesome. Like it's got that fucking like
drive to it.
Oh yeah, it's great. It's the speed, it never slows down, and it's like it's good. Like yeah, I like it.
Good call, Joey.
All right, zipping right along again. We have a song from probably the biggest band from the 90s that nobody that wasn't from the 90s remembers, the Jesus and Mary Chain. This song is called Snake Driver. Like, this band was so huge, and I never hear them get mentioned anymore. This is a pretty good little track. It's nice, it's got their typical kind of twangy thing. It's much like the Violent Femmes song, you know what I mean? Like, if you get jiggy with what they do, you can go ahead and rock out to this, man.
I see a theme developing for this mini shows is going to be Johnny versus Matt.
This is the worst fucking song ever.
Well, they are a bunch of hippies, man, and it's a hippie shit song. So,
oh God.
It was the 90s. There was a lot of hippies about.
The only note that I wrote for this song is just not my jam. Wish it was the Jesus Lizard.
Oh, now we're talking.
Yeah, man, they would have fit on this soundtrack hard.
They would have fit hard, man. They would have made for this soundtrack. Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe that's who they thought they were asking originally.
They're
like,
I don't know.
Jesus,
somebody fucked
here.
up.
Good thing they didn't get Jesus Jones. That would have been even worse. Right here, right now.
Yeah, I hate this song, and that's all I gotta say about it.
I'll say this was another skip for me.
I'm just trying to be a little fair. Like, this isn't really my jam either,
I mean,
but if you like this band and this style, they were huge, you know what I mean? So I didn't want to.
It doesn't help that it follows
such a banger.
Yeah. I mean, it's like you're done listening to that, and then you have this fucking song that you just want to put a gun in your mouth and pull the trigger. You're like, skip, man, I'm skip.
Yeah.
It's such a downer. It's like, fuck, you know.
Yeah.
It's like that person at the party where everyone's having a good time. They're like, oh, guys, try to keep it down. You know, my parents. You know, it's like that person. You know, like the fucking douche at the party that you just. Fucking lame-o, you know? So get out of here, fucker.
Somebody put this fucking song on at a party. I'm definitely leaving. Oh, so awful.
I don't know if I go that far, but
I do. I fucking really hate this song.
Me, it's just a skip. I'll just skip it.
Yeah, this song isn't even on the soundtrack as far as I'm concerned.
Next.
This is another one from a band that I do not know. This song, I don't even know what else to say about it besides it's weird. It's just Time Baby 3 by a group called Medicine, and I think that the producer knew the people in the band or something. The song kind of doesn't fit with any of the rest, even as much as these guys were talking about this last song. This one, I don't know. This is probably the trippiest, weirdest, non-fitting song on the album. But whatever. Like I said, this thing it's a time capsule of the 90s and what you would find on the radio. And I find that even though the song doesn't fit with the rest of it, it does fit that motif. So I guess it does belong, but I don't particularly care very much for it. It would probably get a skip out of me most times out of 10. What about y'all?
Yeah, it's kind of that typical poppy female fronted band in the 90s that kind of all of them, or most of them I should say, sounded like in that era. I don't know. It's like a pop song on acid. It's okay. It's definitely better than the last fucking song, so I can give it that.
This part of the soundtrack is a double skip. Skip.
Yeah. These are the last songs on there for a reason. You know, a lot of people don't make it to the end of both records.
No, it's okay. I mean, it didn't do much for me. There's nothing wrong with it, but compared to the rest, it's like I said, the build up for this soundtrack was so good that when you get to this end, you're like, okay, they just don't match up. You know, it's like the minor leagues. Yeah.
And these are the ones where the producers' friends bands songs got put on. So we're moving on from this one pretty fast again.
Oh yeah.
And then this one, I like it. I think it goes on a little too long. I don't know why they thought that so a lot of these songs had to be 6 minutes, but this one actually has an importance to the film. I wish that it could have been a little jammier, but It Can't Rain All the Time by Jane Siberry. And I don't know, kind of folky, kind of cute little song. And it has to do with the actual band that the song that the band that Eric Draven was sang. It's like a cover of their in meta the bands. It was a neat inclusion, and it's also in a pretty cool scene from the film. So yeah, I can't talk right now, so somebody take over.
Yeah, it's got it's titled the classic line from the movie, so I mean I enjoy it.
It's a good ender, right? It's a good cap for it.
It's somber, and it's a fitting end to the soundtrack. I think it would have been better if the two songs before it didn't happen, but it's okay. I can listen to it.
Yeah, and like Johnny said, it goes on for long, but in the movie it's only a matter of seconds, right? Yeah. So you don't have to listen to when you're watching the movie, you don't have to endure the whole song. They just take the best parts and slap it into the movie, and it fits well. So, and the song itself is okay. Like you said, it's directly tied into the movie and a scene and a part of the movie, so it's all right.
Yeah. And there you guys have it. That was the soundtrack, and I know that we got a little rough on some of the last entries, but that's just kind of how it is with these things, you know. Like, I don't think there are very few albums, even from my favorite bands, where I love every single song. So, and this isn't even like a single band's album. So the fact that this is like a anthology soundtrack type thing, and we loved and agreed with so much of what was on this album, it is a testament to how strong it actually really is. I mean, like, this thing slaps, and it's a really interesting look. Like, honestly, if it wasn't the Crow soundtrack, I think it would have probably be like, this is what it was like in 1994, the album, you know, like, it should be sold as that. Except for maybe, like, go ahead and cut Jesus and Mary Chain out of there just for Matthew, because,
Yes.
like,
if you don't, I'll fucking find it and will.
He's in the fucking CD store scratching where that song is on the CD.
And maybe they can, like, have a better Panty Rust song on there, one of their actual songs, and not them, like, doing.
I don't know. I don't like.
Idea
I don't really like many
agnostic
other
song.
actual songs. So
Maybe they could get them doing a Metallica song. I'd like to hear Phil go, well, what's his name style? James Hetfield. But yeah, dude, like, the movie is so important. I'm pretty sure anybody that's watching has seen it already. But if you haven't, like, it's really good. Even though it is a very loose adaptation of the graphic novel, it's still one of the best comic book movies ever made, as odd as that sounds. And if you've never read the graphic novel by James O'Barr, I don't know what you're doing, man. Like that is comics perfection. That is a piece of history. It's a piece of how a piece of media can change an entire medium, because that guy and his real life story and what transpired and what he was able to turn it into with the book, it's so powerful. And like we're still talking about everything about it today, even some of the crappy music that showed up in the movie. So I mean, that's just a testament to how just amazing and badass the book is. And if you guys can't tell, I am personally obsessed with the comic and have been since my childhood. Well, since seeing the film, actually, to tell you the truth. It's the bastard son of a bitch that started the whole goddamn thing. So, how you guys got anything you want to chime in on about the lore and the just badassness of the Crow?
I mean, I think you summed it up pretty well. But as far as just how important this book was, like, for me, it's transcended being like a graphic novel. It's almost like reached like a folktale status for me. Like it's just like classic isn't even doesn't even do it justice, in my opinion. I think this movie or the graphic novel and the film is just a timeless thing, and it'll never stop being talked about. So, yeah, I know James probably didn't have that goal in mind when he wrote it, but hey, good for him, man, especially after the ordeal that he endured to get the book made. So, yeah, man.
Yeah, like, this is a perfect example of a movie and a soundtrack that complement each other and equal each other's quality. Like I could not picture one without the other. Like I couldn't see this movie without that soundtrack, and vice versa. Like, in my mind, these two things are forever going to be part of one another. And this is what good soundtracks to great movies do.
Yeah.
Make you imagine running on rooftops to badass Nine Inch Nails records, man. Just like, they keep calling me, and like, yeah, man, I'd be jumping over the gaps and like throwing knives at Tintin and shit. Be like, yeah, motherfucker, what up?
Yeah, for sure.
All right. I would like to thank anybody and everybody who maybe joined us on this neat little trek into the realm of film and music in film. I think we had a ball doing it. I think we covered some really banger tunes, and I don't know. I think we talked some good music here. So, thanks for joining us. And until next time, don't stop reading, don't stop watching, don't stop listening to them smacking ass jams. All right.
Unless you're listening to Jesus and the Mary Chain, then don't ever come back to this show.
You can come back. Don't listen to Matt.
Yeah.
Please don't.
Come back, but you better have a white flag flying high. All right? We better know you come in peace, boy. All right. But until next time, we'll check you later. This is Pink Buzz signing off.